here because we don't want Maya to hit with any of the shaving cream and things of that nature going through this. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ed Streb. For those of you who do know me, my name is also Ed Streb. I'm the MC for today's event, and it's going to be relatively short. We're going to have 4 presentations. I'm going to ask J.J. Vogel to come up first to give a presentation on behalf of the Student Government Association. Karen Seifring will speak on behalf of the AFT. Eric Milo will speak on behalf of the Senate, and I'll speak on behalf of all of those people who love Don Farish. No. Well, we'll see about that. JJ, are you ready? Without further ado, SGA President J.J. Vogel. And possible.
I guess I'll use this mic. Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is J.J. Vogel. I'm the student body president. I brought some other fellow SGA members up here with me. It's a sad day for me, Dr. Farish. I was asked to say a couple words and I didn't really want to because it's bittersweet. I don't want you to leave. I don't want to graduate from college, so it's bittersweet. But in all seriousness, I just want to come up here on behalf of past, present, and future students and say thank you for everything you've done for the student body and for this institution. You're a wonderful leader. You're a leader among leaders. And we've been blessed to have you here over the past couple of years. This institution would not have reached the heights it has without your service. And Roger Williams is really lucky to have you. In all fairness, on a personal note, I look up to you. You're one of the kindest, most intellectually gifted beings I've met here during my tenure at Rowan. I admire you. Part of the reason I eventually want to wind up in higher education is because of you and my interactions with you. And your wife as well, Maya. You're lovely. I love you. In all fairness, I just personally want to thank you for everything you've done. And we do have a gift for you. Well, do you want to speak? Jill wants to say something real quick.
Hi, I'm starting a little emotional right now too. Hi, my name is Jill Steyer. I'm a student trustee in the Board of Trustees, and I've also been a student government member. I just want to say thank you so much for all of your kind words, not only to me, but to all my fellow students here. Kind words and your support and your insight and your advice. I've been an admissions ambassador here for 4 years, and I don't know if there's any students here who have been lucky enough to have been on one of my tours, but families will ask me what sets Rowan apart from other institutions, and every single time I've always said, Dr. Farish. You have really been such an important part of this institution, and I'm sorry if you've seen people rustling through the bushes by your window, because whenever I point out Ball Hall, I always say, you'll be lucky to catch President Farish in that office. But I just feel so honored, and I know so many of my peers and thousands of students have been honored to be at Rowan during your reign. And on behalf of all students, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of all of our hearts. And you too, Maya, thank you so much.
Dr. Farish, kind of like Jill said, again, thank you for everything that you and your family have done for this institution. And from us to you, we'd like to say thank you with a nice little framed plaque. We had about 30 to 50 different students from all over campus, from different clubs and organizations sign up to say thank you for your service. So, Dr. Farish, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, all right. Next up, Karen Seifring will speak on behalf of all of us, actually, but here is President of the AFT.
Hope you can hear me. Thank you, Ed. Today we bid our president of the last 13 years farewell. Much like an old Hollywood movie, a relationship started out rocky, only to end up great. We could share flowery accolades and warm, fuzzy stories full of accomplishments, but I prefer to stick just with the AFT facts. The facts are these. Under Dr. Farish's leadership, Rowan University and AFT Local 2373 have continued to be innovators with local agreements and benefits. Many of these ended up in the statewide master agreement. Here's a list of some of these innovations and benefits. Faculty workload adjustments, alternate period for faculty workload, faculty transitional retirement program, fully funded semester sabbatical leaves, professional development grants for professional staff, professional development count for permanent part-time faculty, performance-based promotions for professional staff, merit range adjustments for faculty, summer salary incentive revenue share, the integration of TNR and promotion through Appendix A, tuition reimbursement for dependents, Rowan University Research, Scholarly, and Creative Activity Awards, the Joseph A. Barnes Outstanding Service Award, the Gary Hunter Excellence in Mentoring Award, X-Ranges, additional laboratory technicians, more AFT representation on committees throughout the university, Adjunct Faculty Memorandum of Understanding, Intellectual Property Policy Agreement, a patent policy, newly hired professional staff development funds, newly hired faculty teaching load reduction, the Living in Glassboro Housing Incentive, and then there are all the other good things that I'm not going to have time to mention here. There's no doubt about it, from our AFT perspective, Dr. Farish, you made our professional lives better. Under your forward-thinking leadership, we were the envy of our sister institutions. You will be missed. Keeping within the ethics code of the state of New Jersey, we're presenting you with some token gifts of our appreciation. And I'll share with you why everybody laughed, because you're the only one that doesn't know. Everybody was allowed to donate up to $5 towards the gift. So we've accumulated those, and here's the first of those. First, dinner on us, a gift certificate to 22 Bellman's Wine Bar and Grill on the waterfront in Newport, Rhode Island. This is hopefully will be a reminder of the beautiful and fulfilling experiences you've had with us. Then, as the New England weather begins to chill, Rowan t-shirts for you and Maya. So some of the warm memories of us may surround you in your new home. And then finally, we wanted to couple that with the Roger Williams University hoodie for on top of the t-shirt to honor your new position. Now I'm going to ask everybody again to please join me now in thanking President Donald J. Farish and wishing him a fond farewell and all the best in his new position.
Next speaker needs no introduction, so I won't give him one. President Rowan University Senate, Eric Milo.
Don, on behalf of the University Senate, I present you with the following resolution. Resolution of acclamation and appreciation for President Donald J. Farish. Whereas President Farish led Rowan University on a historic path transforming the institution into a well-respected regional university. Whereas President Farish directed the construction of new academic facilities, including Science Hall and Education Hall. Whereas President Farish has strengthened relationships between the university and the borough of Glassboro, leading to the development of Rowan Boulevard project. Whereas President Farish has directed the initial phase of establishing Cooper Medical School of Rowan University. Be it resolved that the University Senate expresses a deep gratitude and appreciation to President Donald J. Farish for his exemplary leadership of the university community. Don, I do have one further gift. As you well know, you have given many speeches to the university community over the past 13 years. And some of us even managed to stay awake during the majority of them. But there's one particular speech that seems to have made an everlasting impression on me. So to memorialize that particular speech, I present you with the following gift. Sharpie if anybody wants to sign it.
Thank you, Eric. Well, okay, I know you're all wondering, why am I up here? I mean, Karen is the president of the AFT, Eric's the president of the University Senate. The University Senate, why is this not working? And it's not, you're kidding. Somebody doesn't want me to be heard. Well, okay, I'll use this mic. I will not be stopped. But JJ is obviously the president of SGA, and so he was up here, and you're saying, why are you up here? Well, I was told that I was chosen for this task for 4 reasons. Number 1, I was on the search committee that hired Don Farish. Number 2, I am a former president of Rowan University, Senate. Number 3, I'm known to be a man of few words. No, seriously, I have a very limited vocabulary. And number 4, I'm a friend of Don Farish's. Well, the people who arranged this event were right about 3 things. Yes, it's true, I was on the search committee. And yes, it's true, I was president of Rowan University Senate. And yes, it's true, I am a man of few words. But as to being a friend of Don Farish's, well, that's been blown out of proportion. We're not really that close. I mean, seriously, Don, you're leaving here, and I got to do something to establish street cred with my new friends on the Board of Trustees. So we kind of tolerate each other a little bit. Yes, I know what he looks like. He knows what I look like. We pass each other in the hallways occasionally. We'll greet each other, but that's really about the extent of our relationship. In fact, I can tell you now, I know we're not supposed to. Is Johanna here? No, she's not. You know, we're not supposed to talk about what goes on behind the scenes during searches. I'm going to tell you, quite frankly, that I was the only one on the search committee who was adamantly opposed to hiring Don Farish. I remember it like it was only yesterday. I sat down with Keith Campbell. I said, Keith, we can't hire this guy. He said, why not? I said, I've heard through the rumor mill, he's an alien. You want somebody to come in here and take us to the next level? He's going to do that literally. I mean, here's the first thing he's going to do. He is going to build a science building with a planetarium. Then he's going to purchase a large parcel of land right near the campus where the mothership can land. He's going to do all of this. He'll take us all to a new level. We don't want to go there. We can't have this. And Keith looked at me and said, no, Ed, he's not that kind of alien. He's Canadian. I said, oh, that makes it all better. I said, we cannot hire this man. The faculty will not have any respect for his research. We want somebody who has a serious research plan, somebody whose research has really done something to improve our lives as human beings. This man is an entomologist, for crying out loud. He studies baked goods for a living. Nobody's going to take him seriously. Keith said, no, Ed, you've got it wrong. It's not entomologist, it's entomologist. He studies bugs, specifically butterflies. I said, oh, that makes it all better. I said, Keith, we can't hire this guy. Let me explain why. I said, Keith, I'm a serious researcher. You know that. My scholarship has really made a difference. I've spent most of my lifetime becoming one of the country's foremost experts on supermarket tabloids. And I found this in my collection. Yes. If you can't read it in the back of the room, the headline is "Entire State of Rhode Island Changed by Mind Power Test." This was in the National Enquirer in 1979, and they couldn't print it if it wasn't true. Don Farish was also in Rhode Island in 1979, and that explains a lot. Keith said, no, Ed, trust me, there's no problem. I said, I'm worried about residual effects of the mind power test. The man could come in here, he could start running around campus naked, howling at the moon, and embarrassing all of us. Keith said, no, I checked it out. Actually, after the mind power test in Rhode Island, people became very sedate, very calm. There was one strange thing, though. Shortly after the mind power test was administered, everybody in Rhode Island started expending excessive amounts of money fixing up their houses and buying $400 mailboxes. And I said, oh, that makes it all better. At any rate, we hired him anyway, despite my objections. And some of you may recall Don talking about, at one of his interviews here, as a matter of fact, he made reference to it at the last University Assembled, that if we wanted somebody to come in here and take the weight of the university on his shoulders and carry us to the next level, then we wanted Atlas, not Farish. And everybody chuckled at that, thought that was mildly funny, except for me and Keith Campbell. We knew that Atlas had already withdrawn his application, and we were kind of stuck with Don. So, all right, I tried to make the best of it. He's the new president, I'm the new president of the Senate. First week he was here, I heard so much about Don, heard so much. The people at Sonoma were constantly gushing with what a wonderful guy he is. I heard this over and over again. Don Farish thinks like a faculty member. He has the heart of a faculty member. He's still one of us. He talks like a faculty member. First week he was here, I went to his office. I said, Don, I understand you're a Boston Red Sox fan. He said, yes, I am. I said, hey, great, they're playing Baltimore tomorrow afternoon. Let's go down. He said, but Ed, tomorrow's a work day. Seriously, when has a faculty member ever said anything like that? I said, Don, I'm the Senate president. You want to talk about problems on campus? Let's do that. He said, that makes it all better. And we went to Baltimore together, and I found out all sorts of weird things about him. When he was younger, most of you don't know this, he was actually on Password with Alan Lutt, and his partner was Orson Bean. Does anybody here even remember? Yeah, really? There's there's a few people who remember Orson Bean, and many of you faculty members, younger faculty members, Orson who? Anyway, we went down there and we talked it over, and things seemed to go well at first. The first thing he did, of course, was he built that new science building with a planetarium. Yeah. And then after that, he seemed to lose focus. I had a lot of conversations with him a short time later. I was getting a little upset. I talked to him frequently as the Senate president. I said, Don, look, let me explain something to you. I'm really getting annoyed here, as are my colleagues in the College of Communication. We are the only college on campus that does not have an academic classroom building. We are housed in an old elementary school and an old dormitory. We need a new building. Well, Don, as he often did, and Eric, I'm sure, can bear this out, Karen, every time you would talk to him and he seemed to think an idea was good, he'd pull out a little notebook and he'd write something down and put it back in his pocket. You never knew what he was writing, but he'd write it down. And so every time I saw him, I kept saying, Don, we got to have a new building for communication. Don, we need a new building for communication. He kept pulling out the notebook, writing something down. I didn't know what it was. Short time later, I was in his office with him. He got called away briefly to talk to somebody outside. I got to see what he had written in that notebook. Page 1, he wrote, Ed wants a new building. Okay. He's getting the message. Page 2, he said, Ed needs a new building. I said, okay. Page 3, Ed demands a new building. I said, he got the message. Sure enough, a short time later, Ed got a new building. The College of Ed. How is it you messed that up, Don? I don't understand. By the way, Carol Sharp, he's leaving in a couple of weeks, and my new friends in the Board of Trustees said they're going to give that building to its rightful owners. So I hope you enjoy Hawthorne. We're getting new windows for you this summer. Yeah. Oh, so here he is. He gets to the campus. He's buying all sorts of stuff. $400 mailboxes. How many times we hear that in the newspaper? He's buying things to fix up the house. I understand it's the mind power test residual effect. I'm not bothered by it. But I'm trying to get some things for my department, not just a building. I mean, I called Don's office once. I said, Don, we're having trouble with office supplies over here. So what do you mean? I said, I've got some of those marked cent sheets I've got to fill out today. I don't have any number 2 pencils. All I've got are number 1 pencils. He said, no problem. Just use the number 1s and press twice as hard. It's not going to work. I said, Don. I called him later. I said, look, I'm not in a smart classroom. I don't understand why all our classrooms aren't smart. I'm doing some stuff today that requires PowerPoint. I'm showing some video. I can't do this. He said, what are you showing? I said, well, I'm showing some clips of great speeches that I downloaded from the web. He said, I'll take care of it. A few minutes later, one of his office people, student workers, came over to my classroom carrying a flashlight and directions on how to do shadow puppets. I was up there, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Didn't quite work. But we had all of these things going, and we finally got some of these things straightened out, as you can imagine. CGC, what did we call it? CGCE finally came around. I mean, that was one of the inventions here that finally put some money in my department's pocket. We were finally able to afford number 2 pencils and some other things that we needed. And then, when everything seemed to be going right, the board decided Don had to leave. Now, I know you've heard the rumors about why he's leaving, and I wanted to address those today. You've probably heard, as many people have, that there are some photos out there. Actually, there's only one. It's this photo, and I'm telling you right now, it's not real. It is not real. You may not be able to see this in the back of the room very clearly. I'll hold it up. It's an autographed picture of Orson Bean. And it says, to Don, I'll see you on the mothership in 2012. What's she talking about? No, we know this is not true. This clearly has Donald Trump's fingerprints all over it. Come to think of it, Don, we never have seen your birth certificate. Sort of wondering about that. But really, for those of you who don't know, the reason just came out this week, believe it or not, as to why Don was asked to step down by the board. You may have seen that article the other day in the Philadelphia Inquirer, a nice article, but you may have overlooked the most important part. This is a direct quote from Donald Farish referring to the West Campus. We certainly wouldn't put up a Hooters. Seriously? Do you have any idea how many board members wanted the Hooters put up out there? I mean, what red-blooded American man wouldn't want a Hooters? Oh, I'm sorry, Don, that's right, you're Canadian. Or so you claim. So anyway, we had some problems, and Maya called me. She said, Ed, I need some help. I gotta find a job for Don. I said, what do you mean a job? He's got a $600,000 buyout. He doesn't need a job. She said, are you kidding? You know how expensive the wine is that he drinks? He'll blow through $600,000 in 3 months. I said, okay, I'll see what I can do. He could probably get a job working in one of those butterfly pavilions. They're very big right now. She said, no, he wants a job in higher education. I said, I'll see what I can do. She said, well, the good news is he has an interview tomorrow. I said, good, that's awesome. She said, the bad news is he's practicing for the interview right now. I said, what kind of a job is it in higher education he has to practice for? She said, I really don't understand, but he keeps walking around the house in circles, dragging one of those wheeled suitcases behind him, asking me if I have any books to sell. Well, we can't have him doing that. I mean, I want to see the man in higher education. He's not really my friend, but Maya is, and I didn't want to see Maya suffer this way. So I made a few phone calls, and sure enough, he got a few interviews. I actually called my sister in Buffalo and my sister-in-law in Crystal Lake, Illinois. I don't know if they were connected to the interviews that he got, but I made some phone calls, he got some interviews. I think there might be a connection. I got a call a few weeks ago from the people, however, at Roger Williams. This was what I thought was going to be a devastating phone call. They said, Ed, Don Farish is on our short list, and we understand you know him well. I said, yeah, I know him quite well. They said, we're thinking of hiring him, but we have 3 objections to hiring Don Farish. And unless you can answer those objections, his application is going in the toilet. I said, well, I'll do the best I can. Give me your objections. He said, our first objection is we heard through the rumor mill that he's an alien. I said, no, that's not true. He's Canadian, or so he claims. And the guy said, well, that makes it all better. The second problem we have is that he's an entomologist. He studies baked goods. We don't want somebody like that here. I said, no, that's not it. He's an entomologist. You're pronouncing that wrong. And he said, that makes it all better. He said, there's one final thing, though. We've heard that he's spent exorbitant amounts of money on things that really weren't essential to the university. And I said, hey, if you're talking about that house in Woodbury, that's what all of you people in Rhode Island have been doing for a long time. I said, no. We're cool with the Rhode Island house. We're cool with all that with the Rhode Island. We're cool with the Woodbury house. We got no problem with that. But even at a private school, we think that the idea of a university, a state university, becoming an all-Steinway school is a little over the top. You squandered all that money on Steinway pianos and didn't have enough for number 2 pencils. Well, I told Maya I was not going to lie to help Don out, and there was nothing I could say, but just then a student came into my office. I said, could I call you back this afternoon? I hung up, I took care of the student, and then I had a brainstorm. Earlier that week, I had been in a local Goodwill shopping for Don's going-away present. And I discovered that they had there a cheap, old, beat-up piano. I think it was an Acme brand. I went to the people at Goodwill and I said, I want that piano. They said, okay, we'll deliver it next week. I said, no, I have to have it delivered now. They said, that's going to cost you a lot of money. I said, I will give you all of my CGCE money if you can get that piano delivered to my office this afternoon. Sure enough, they delivered it. I called the people at Roger Williams. I said, I know for a fact that every piano on this campus is not a Steinway. And he said, that makes it all better. And they hired Don Farish. Yes, see, that applause was for me. It was a thank you for helping you get a job. Oh, years ago I got to speak at Don's inaugural. This is kind of like bookends. And some of you may remember at the inauguration I said that those of us on the search committee had been told we wanted a president who would take us to the next level. But I believed in Don Farish so much that he would take us beyond the next level. And in the words of that immortal American hero, Buzz Lightyear, he would take us to infinity and beyond. Don came up to me later and said, but there is nothing beyond infinity. Spoken like a guy with absolutely no sense of humor, or a creature who had been all the way to infinity and knew there was nothing beyond that. Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of Buzz Lightyear, I have to say. I was in the Disney store not long ago and was shopping for my grandson. And the clerk came up and said, "Hey, did you see any of those new Buzz Lightyear bobbleheads that we just got in?" I said, "No, I didn't see them. I don't want them. Those things tend to be made in China, and they put a lot of lead in the paints." And they said, no, these weren't made in China. They were made in Canada. I said, "Oh, that makes it all better." So they gave me one. They wrapped it up without me even looking at it. I gave it to my grandson. He started screaming and crying. It turns out that the new Buzz Lightyear bobbleheads, and I know you can't see this in the cheap seats in the back, but trust me, you can come up and see it later, look exactly like Don Farish. Yes, it turns out that not only did Don Farish take us to infinity and beyond, but Buzz Lightyear became Don Farish and became Canadian instead of an alien. What can I say? Let me spend just a few moments talking about something a little bit more serious. Though, as if I haven't been serious enough already here, I think I have. We could talk forever about Don's legacy. We could talk about what he's done for the university and what he's left behind. He built us a new science building with a planetarium. He built us a new ed building, which I'm going to be in this summer. He built us a lot of things. We could point to Rowan Boulevard. Karen came up here and gave a long list of fantastic things that Don has been responsible for in the years that he's been here. I have to tell you though, today I speak with mixed emotions. I'm a little angry, I'm a little sad, I'm a little jealous. I'm angry because you're leaving before you should have been leaving. And I wish you'd been here to stay a lot longer. You had a lot of good things to do in this university. We needed you at the helm to face the kind of adversity we're facing. And while I don't fear we're going to be lost without you, I fear there's tough sledding ahead. I'm sad because we're losing not only a president, but we're losing a friend. I remember the last time we were at University Assembled in the fall, I was actually walking out with a faculty member, and the person remarked to me, she said, "Every time I come to one of these University Assembles, I leave feeling so much better about this university. Even in the darkest hour, Don makes us believe that things are going to get better." And that really is your legacy. It's not the buildings, it's not all of the other things you've done for us. It's that you believed in us. You believed in the potential of this institution, an institution that was modest at best, sometimes backwards, but an institution that you have begun to turn into a world-class university. That is your legacy, not the buildings, not the programs, but the belief, the attitude that we have been instilled with. Finally, Don, I'm jealous. I'm jealous because right now, somewhere in Rhode Island, there are people up there debating all sorts of problems on the Roger Williams campus. We all have problems. Everybody in higher education is complaining. We don't have enough money. The students are complaining tuition increases are too high. The faculty are complaining about a new core curriculum that's being installed. Everybody has gripes on every campus in this country. But I've got to believe in my heart that somewhere right now in Rhode Island, people are discussing and debating the future. And someone is saying, yeah, but Don Farish is on the way. And things are indeed going to get better. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the president of Rowan University, my friend, Don Farish.
Wow. Thank you, I think, Ed. That was a very interesting speech. My universal translator popped out partway through, and I was just getting kind of stuck because Australians don't actually speak English. This is a very moving day for me and for Maya, and I want to thank you so much for coming over and being a part of today. It is one of those bittersweet moments. I had expected, or hoped at least at one point, to finish my career here, but that didn't turn out to be the end result. But I want to say a couple things. First of all, the fact that Nate Carr, after 52 years, and Bert Greenspan, after 50 years of retiring, that told me it was time for me to go too. So I take my instruction from the senior faculty. This place will always be a very special place for me. This is the best job I ever had. I hope it won't be always the best job I ever had, because I'm looking forward to my next job. But it's been such an honor to be part of this university community. It's a little bit scary being president. There were times when I realized a lot of people had a lot of faith that it was going to work out in some fashion. But Ed hit it exactly right. He took the words out of my mouth. It is not the buildings. The buildings are important because they are an outward reflection of what is going on inside. But what's important are the people who are here. And what's important, or how, is the commitment of the people who are here to what it is that they're doing. And if there's one thing that I'm proud of here, it isn't the buildings. It is the sense of connection that has been made. It is the sense of shared enterprise. Ed made reference to my comment that if you wanted somebody to do it by themselves, we needed Atlas, not Farish. The question I asked of you in 1998 when I came was, are you ready to work with me to do this? Because I can't do it myself, and you said you were, and you were as good as your word. The people who were here then, and the people who have joined since, have said, our destiny is up to ourselves. And we believe, if we believe in ourselves, there's nothing that we can't do. And I think this is a university that does believe in itself. I leave with the sense that its best days are still very much ahead. It's an interesting thing. We talk about graduation as commencement. I will be leaving with the students this year. I'm commencing on the next phase of my life as they're commencing on the next phase of theirs. But this university, even as we have an ending, is commencing as well. I can tell you from direct experience in looking at a lot of presidential perspectives of campuses that were looking for presidents this year, that the perspectives that will be written about this institution will attract an outstanding group of candidates, an outstanding group. It is a university that anyone would be proud to be associated with. And so people that are looking for a presidency are going to be applying to this institution. And you will be, I am confident, in the position of being able to choose as your next president, someone who will go on to the next one. It will take you, working with you, to wherever it is this university is destined to go. And so I want to thank you for the faith that you've shown in me over the years. It's not always been easy. I know that I have not always made decisions that all of you can agree with. It's just not possible to do that. And if I were really good, perhaps it might be possible, but it's not. You attribute too much to me today. Things happen on someone's watch, and they either get the blame or the credit, and I guess that's the way it goes. But do understand that all of the things that happened here during this last 13 years was never the result of one person's actions. And so this university is going to prosper. I'm confident of that. I would be bitterly disappointed if it did not, because then I would feel that the work that I did here was for naught. But I'm confident. I'm confident you're going to get an excellent person coming in to be your next president. I'm confident in you. I hope you share that confidence in yourselves and never let that go. There are all kinds of small things that represent to me the successes that I've enjoyed here. And I want to give you just a couple of examples. When I go to music performances, and I go to a lot of them, I enjoy that. I'm seeing a level of performance that is just absolutely outstanding. The quality of the program in music is just outstanding, but it's not just music. At the STEM Symposium, at the Psychology Forum that I went to a couple of weeks ago, every place that I go on this campus, outstanding work is being done by the faculty and the students and the staff of this institution. And the students recognize this. I was having dinner last night with a faculty member at the Landmark. I don't do that very often at all, but as I was sitting there, the waitress arrived and handed me a beer that I hadn't ordered. And I looked at her kind of strangely, and she said, "It's from the table over there." And it was a group of our students. Now, I decided to leave before things got completely out of hand, because I knew the sinister intent with which this was starting. Oh, sure, after 3 or 4, let's see how he does out there. But I walked over to the table and I said, I understand that you bought me a beer, and I wanted to thank you for it. And they said, that's just our way of saying thank you for what you've done for our students. And that meant a tremendous amount. It was not the beer, it was pretty good, but the gesture. And I think, well, that's great. You know, when you have a chance to impact people's lives, it's the most rewarding thing possible. So you've given me that opportunity here. I will never forget you for it. I'm not going back to the mothership and the home planet. I'm only going to be 300 miles away. I do have 4 guest rooms in the new president's home. I invite you, not all at one time, and visit us up there. And certainly I'll be down here from time to time as well. We're only, as I say, 300 miles away. But I thank you for not just today and all the nice things that have been said, but for your kindness and your friendship and your support over the years. And let us be very, very proud of this university, because it is a great university with a tremendous future. I know the people in this room are going to help make sure that that future is realized. Thanks once again.
Thank you, everybody. Hang around, say hello to Don, and enjoy the music. Denny, you're all ready?
Good.